This is hands down one of my favorite lessons, psychology in the stock market. And the reason why I think it's so cool is because I'm nerding out a little bit, is I believe it's like having a superpower in the stock market to understand how other traders think, right? That is a nice superpower to have. To telepathically understand what another trader is going to be doing, what a mob of traders are going to do, what a group of traders are going to do. And that's what stock trading really is when you think about it. It's understanding a certain individual and then multiplying by that and understanding a whole society of stock trading. So we go from psychology all the way to sociology and understanding the mind. Stocks move up because people buy them. Stocks move down because people sell them. Now, we always study chart patterns. We always study chart setups, and we study volume and news and technical analysis and support and resistance and indicators and the RSI and the oscillator and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, if I can just understand what this guy does, I know the stock will move up or slightly down. And if I can understand what this guy and that girl does, well, now again, I can understand if the stock is going to move up even harder if they both buy. And maybe I can understand what that whole entire community is going to do when they all dislike a play. Maybe they're all going to short. Well, now I know the stock is going to drop very hard. So think about it. Imagine if you knew what everyone on Reddit was going to do. Imagine if you knew what everyone on Twitter was going to do. Imagine if you knew what every single Discord was going to do. Imagine if what you knew what was going to happen in the stock market. You would obviously be able to make loads and loads of money. Let's start thinking about that, team. And let's start getting into a different mindset. And let's start kind of exploring your mind. I'm kind of sounding like I'm Morpheus at this moment from the Matrix, right? But every single morning when you guys start sitting down, stop saying to yourself, what's the best play today? Stop asking yourself, what stock am I going to trade today? Stop asking yourself, what play should I get involved in? Start asking yourself, what is everyone else like? What is everyone else going to trade? What is everyone else going to invest in? Because if I can beat them to that play, I'll be able to make the most money possible because I will be in first. So psychology in the stock market, this is going to be absolutely crucial. So what is psychology? Well, psychology is the scientific study of the human mind and its function, especially those affecting behavior in a given context. So when I was in college, this was one of the only classes that I was actually interested in. I was very interested in understanding the mind and how people think, how people react to different situations and different scenarios in different given contexts. And I apply that over to my stock trading. And we can see a lot of stock traders get extremely emotional when there's money involved. You can see fear. You can see greed. You can see enthusiasm, confidence, and you can also see scared and worry, right? You can see doubt. Now, those emotions are not supposed to be in the stock market, are they? But since they are in the stock market, and we can start feeling that on which way traders are kind of thinking, we could start saying, oh, I think the stock's going to go up. There's a lot of confident traders. And you might say, well, Deck, how do you know that? How do you know which way, again, traders are thinking? A part of it is being part of a community, right? Right here on tradecaster.com. A great way I can understand what traders are thinking is I can see traders a lot of time in chat when they're typing super fast and traders are excited and everyone's saying, guys, this is the best day ever. This is a huge breakout. Oh my goodness, I've never seen so many big spikes, so many big rips, so many big runs, right? I've never seen so many big climbs here. Excuse me one moment. Let me put this back on up. There we go. You know, sometimes we see that just in chat alone. So in chat, sometimes by the way traders are typing, people get extremely excited. You can look over on Twitter, and you guys can see on Twitter, people saying, oh, wow, the stock's going up to the moon, has thousands of likes. You can check over on Stock Twits on a certain play, how people are reacting. If everyone in the sentimental value, if everyone's saying it's going to go up, most likely it is going to go on up. So when you think about a big play like Reddit on GameStop, who remembers that a year and a half, 2 years ago? On GameStop, when it went absolutely crazy, stock went from $15 all the way up to $500. Everyone had the same plan. Everyone had the same mindset, didn't they? They all said, let's take down Wall Street. Let's again beat Wall Street. Let's squeeze out the firms. Let's do this. Let's do that. And that was everyone's plan. And everyone saw the stock going higher and higher and higher. And as the stock went higher, and again, more people got squeezed out, enthusiasm grew, confidence grew, more people got excited. The stock only kept going higher as everyone was investing nonstop. It's almost the same exact thing that we saw like on Dogecoin, kind of the same exact thing we saw on AMC, right? It was basically just a frenzy of people feeling confident. Now, if we can try to beat them to that and understand that's going to happen, well, we can make a lot of money. Just like when we see, let's say, a stock that has very bad news or a stock starts falling. you can see how motivation and enthusiasm's kind of drained. You guys ever play a sport before? I remember growing up playing sports, and sometimes you go to practice and everyone just felt like they had crazy amount of energy. And everyone's having fun, everyone's laughing, everyone's doing things that, dunking on people and just saying, wow, this is awesome. And then you ever gone to a practice where it just seems like the enthusiasm's extremely low? Everyone just seems like they don't want to be there. Everyone's messing up, playing basketball, dribbling it off your foot, making bad shots. The coach is trying to clap and try to bring up the enthusiasm a little bit because you can tell that everyone's down. You can start sensing that on certain days. You can start sensing that on certain plays. You can start sensing that on, again, how other people are thinking, on how the enthusiasm is. So what's sociology? Well, sociology is the study of societies, how humans act in groups. Sociology is a social science. So we have psychology, which is the study of one individual mind. And now we have sociology, which is basically the study of groups and how people think within a certain way. Now, let's think about this, team. Let's think about all the traders that are inside random discords and people that don't know how to trade the right way and people that just want to make money. How many people basically got texted, hey, go ahead and buy AMC. Why? Well, that's the stock that everyone's buying at this moment. Go buy GameStop. Go buy Doge. People have no idea what they're even investing in, but they are going to invest into it because everyone else is investing into it, right? Same exact thing with like Bitcoin. I remember one time I went to go get a bagel at a place down the street. And I went to go get a bagel and I said, hey, how you doing? Can I get a bacon, egg, and cheese? The guy looked at me and says, hey, are you in Bitcoin? And I said, I just want to get a bacon, egg, and cheese, right? Like it just, why is he asking me, what Bitcoin is? He doesn't know, again, probably the most advanced Bitcoin trading strategy, right? He's making me a bacon, egg, and cheese. But it just seems like everyone's talking about Bitcoin. Kids in my high school talking about Bitcoin. My parents talking about Bitcoin or Doge or this and that. And it's just because once some things catch fire, everyone starts buying and buying and buying and buying. So again, understanding that a certain trend may catch fire, if you can beat that trend, you can start making money. So now again, we start thinking about this. Okay, how can we find that trend? How can we find, again, if something's hot or not? How can we find if something, is attractive to other traders? So how do these two mix? Well, stocks move from us. If we buy them, they go up. We sell them, they go on down. If a trader buys a stock, it goes up. If a trader sells a stock, it goes on down. And as I talked about before, it's not wanting what we want. It's about understanding what everyone else wants. And once we really understand that concept, that's where we can start making a lot of money in the market. So something that we always want to be looking at is going to be volume. Volume is going to be how many shares are traded in a stock. Basically, the exchange from hand to hand, from buyer to seller, those shares are going to be volume. But how you can think about it, even though this is the incorrect definition before anyone roasts me, but a way I like to think about it is, again, volume is going to be how many people are within a stock. When volume is high and we have very high amounts of shares being traded, we can also assume that there's a lot of people staring at that stock. So the more people that are in on a play, the more hype there's going to be on a play, the more momentum there's going to be on a play. And if a stock starts spiking extremely hard, the more FOMO, the fear of missing out. Has anyone ever seen a stock go on a very big spike? Has anyone ever seen Dogecoin, GameStop, AMC, all these plays go on very big spikes? And then you say to yourself, man, I wish I was in on it. I wish I was in on it. Hey, I can't take it anymore. I'm buying in on it. Well, you buying in on it made the stock go a little bit higher. And now guess what? That led to someone else buying in on it. And that led to someone else, tapping out with their FOMO and buying in on it. And now the stock just keeps going up higher and higher and higher, which is basically just building up more emotions in the stock market. Volume equals activity. Activity equals profit. The more a stock moves, the more money we make. The more a stock moves, the more emotions there are going to be. The more emotions there are, the more money that's going to be able to be made in the market. So how can we understand this big group of traders? How can we understand all these emotions? How can we understand these big group of traders in the stock market? Well, we can understand them through what we call the mob. The mob is going to be the majority of buyers. The majority of buyers in the stock market. You guys hear that fact all the time. The fact that scares people away. They say 80% of stock traders are going to lose in the stock market. How dare you say that, Deck? How dare you? 80% of traders are going to lose in the stock market. Traders hear that and they flee. They get scared. They say, Deck, I don't want to trade, which is the most ridiculous concept I have ever heard in my life. If you said, hey, you have a 20% chance of being extremely successful in the stock market, that is inspiring and motivating beyond any sort of way. Here's a couple little fun facts for you guys. Did you guys know that 7% of the people who invest into an Ivy League school, such as Stanford, such as Harvard, get accepted? Did you guys know that less than 3% of college football athletes actually make it to the NFL? Did you guys know that less than 1% of basketball players make it to the NBA? Did you guys know that less than 0.5% of people that move out to Los Angeles to make it a big screen actor never actually make it onto a movie? But you know what? People do it. And they try, and they give all their work. But you know what? The mob right here, or stock trading, you have a 20% chance of success. How insane is that? Do you know what that 80% of stock traders who lose is basically made up of? Of people who don't do anything. Of people who are just in group chats with their friends and trade on a Robinhood account. People that haven't ever actually studied. The people who haven't actually worked. People who actually have never watched the videos over on Tradecaster.com. Haven't watched the video libraries. Haven't watched our live streams. Haven't been part of a successful community like we have. Right? The 80% are people who don't paper trade and they just open up a Robinhood account with $500, end up losing it and quit. The 80% of people are people who want to get rich overnight, don't realize they have to do any sort of work and end up quitting. The 80% are people that may be trying it for a week, or people that get inspired and realize, oh man, this is more work than I thought, and end up quitting. Right? That's usually what, again, people who lose in stock trading. If you give your all, if you work hard, nearly, I could ask the entire chat right now, right? Over 1,000 people right now on Tradecaster. How many people have seen success in the stock market? You may not be exactly where you want right now, but how many people here have been able to make money in the stock market? How many people here have won on a trade? How many people here have made a successful trade where you say, wow, I've made $300, $500, $1,000 in the matter of 2 minutes in the market? Now, if I can just keep replicating this, I mean, I'll be able to make $100,000. I'll be able to make $1 million. Now, obviously, that comes with time, that comes with training, that comes with experience. But I can guarantee every single person here on Tradecaster has seen some sort of success where you say, wow, this is possible, right? So I want to make sure that you understand the mob. And the mob is just going to be that 70, that 80% of traders that don't really do anything, that just chase and follow what everyone else does. The mob is basically that group of traders with their heads cut off and just say, where's everyone buying? Oh, that's the big stock that's spiking. Everyone run over there. I always show the example of from Finding Nemo, right? We probably all saw that movie when we were a kid. Good movie, right? Good Pixar movie, kind of back in the day, back in the prime. And what do we have here? In the movie Finding Nemo, there's these group of seagulls that none of them kind of think for themselves. It's just hundreds of seagulls that just kind of sit there and they just say to themselves, mine, mine, mine. They all see a fish and they all go flying into that fish, all fighting for that fish. Then they just sit on that wire and they just look around and wait for another fish. And then they all go flying into the same fish. It's basically just a group of zombies that don't do anything other than just say, what's the best spike? What's the best move? What's the best? And then everyone just goes flying in there. And you may be part of the mob right now. Are you a person? Let's be honest. Let's be brutally honest with each other. Are you a person that understands how to find a big spike before it happens? Are you a person that knows how to find news before, again, the stock basically goes on a big rip and run? Are you a person that buys in right when a hot press release comes out? Do you know how to find a top gainer before it's a top gainer? Do you know what to look for in a stock? Do you know about float and volume? Do you know the most popular indicators? Do you know the top 5 best chart setups before a breakout? Do you know and understand all technical analysis behind support and resistance? Do you know how to trade in pre-market? Do you know what to look for in a swing trade? Do you know how momentum works? Do you know how volume is found before, of course, a stock starts getting that hot press release? Do you know every single thing that I just talked about? Or are you a person that is hoping to get the answers, joining random discords and following random people that have large followings and hoping that they just tell you success, waiting for a stock to spike again $5 before you feel confident buying it? Are you a person that's in a group chat right now with your friends and your friends who don't know anything about stock trading, but you just listen to them because you assume they know more than you? Are you a person that goes on stock twits, posts your ideas to try to help the stock move on up, and the moment that someone tells you that that's a bad idea, you delete your message and you say to yourself, man, okay, maybe I don't know what's going on. When you don't know what's going on in the stock market and you have a very limited education, you always assume that everyone else knows more than you do, even though that probably 80% of people don't have any idea, and it's kind of whoever talks the loudest persuades the most. So are you part of the mob, or are you in that top 20%? Are you in that top 30% who actually understands how stock trading works? So let's break it down. on how the mob usually works? Well, we'll say you have a 30% chance of winning on every single trade, right? On these trades right here, not being part of the mob. Now, obviously, as an experienced stock trader, you'll have an 80% chance. Last year, in 2021, I've shown every single P&L. I was able to make over $550,000, and I had an 83% success rate throughout 2021. It was incredible. And how was I able to do that? Well, I just avoided the 70%. I beat the mob to every play, or I waited till the mob exhausted itself. So, if we take a look at why the 70% of traders lose, what can we see here? We basically have 4 different areas where we can buy a stock. There's only one area that we cannot buy a stock, but that seems like that's the area where everyone does buy the play. So let's break this on down. First things first, if there's 100% of stock traders, we are going to have the 2% of stock traders get in extremely early. The early swing traders. This means the traders are getting in before a hot press release comes out. They've been holding the stock because they see something. Maybe they see a great chart setup. Maybe they see higher lows. Maybe they see a squeeze between 2 indicators, such as the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. This is, again, a very small amount of people who we like to call stock snipers that are really just getting in on this play, and they are way ahead of the curve. Very difficult to be in that top 2%. But if you are in that top 2%, you make the most amount of money possible. Now, the majority of the time, where am I going to be? The majority of the time, I'm going to be in this 15% region, where basically it's going to be traders that have studied, who work hard, who trade full time, and they start getting in on the play when it starts building higher lows. They start seeing that a squeeze is happening. They start seeing this very nice first green candle start pushing the play on up. We don't get scared. We don't wait for a breakout to happen before we feel confident that a breakout is happening. We go off of the higher low, the press release that came out. We see that the volume at the bottom right here is increasing, and we know that traders are starting to look at this play, understanding the sociology and the psychology behind other traders on how the excitement is about to relay to the 70%. Then what do we see? We see the 70% of traders start buying in. People start posting it on their Discord. People start texting it to you on a group chat. Hey guys, look at this. Stock XYZ is starting to spike. So notice what happens. People start moving in on this play. People start buying the stock. The stock starts moving its way on up. And that 70% of traders is going to be the mob. The mob is going to be the traders that essentially just push the stock all the way up towards the highs. If you are part of the 70%, you are probably the trader that it seems like every time you buy into a play, it reverses on you. Is that you? Are you the person that it seems like every single time you buy in on a stock, it does the opposite direction? I'll tell you why right now. It's because you're late. You are waiting for a trade to spike before you're confident enough to buy in on it. I get it. It's human emotion. You don't know if there's a big spike until a spike happens. So you say, okay, let me wait for the big spike to happen. And once the big spike happens, that's when you jump in on it. And that's when you say to yourself, hey, this makes sense. It goes on a big time spike. I feel confident. The spike is now happening. Let me jump in on it. But that doesn't really make sense at the end of the day, does it? Because let's think about it here for a second. If a stock goes on a very big spike, very big run, and now we wait for the very big spike, we are buying it after the spike has already happened. You have to have the education to get in before the spike happens. But I know as every single new trader, we are scared. We don't know. So we wait for the spike, we wait for the rip, then we buy in. But that puts us at the top every single time. So guess what happens? After you buy in at the very top, guess what all the early swing traders do? Guess what all the traders who bought in at the breakout area do? We start locking in our profits. Hey, we just went from, again, $5 all the way up towards the end, $10. I'm up $5,000. I'm up $10,000 right now. I'm taking my gains. Since, again, we start taking our gains, shorters start moving in. That's another area that you guys can profit. Shorters start moving on in. Everyone who chased it starts taking their loss, right? The stock starts dumping on down. Shorters end up losing. The mob ends up losing, and they, again, start taking a very big hit. So isn't this funny kind of how this works right here, team? Just take a look here at this moment. You could have bought in right here at the early swing traders. You could have bought in early at the breakout traders. You could wait for the stock to go ahead and get filled on the shorting side after the stock has already gotten a big time breakout. Or last but not least, you could honestly wait for a dip buy. After a big spike happens, you usually get a dip buy back on up. But it just seems like you always get caught up at the very top. Shorters buy, or excuse me, the mob always buys in at the very top, and the mob always sells at the very bottom. Just constantly losing, constantly losing. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 spots that you guys can buy. But 70% of people consistently buy after a stock spikes just to lose all their money back on down. Isn't that crazy? And then guess what? The whole cycle restarts again. The whole cycle starts again where the mob says, man, I just took a loss. Shorters are making money and people are already starting to dip buy. This is where, again, early swing traders are starting to move on in, right? Early swing traders starting to move on in. Maybe breakout traders starting to jump back in on this play. Now all of a sudden, guess what happens? We start seeing the mob start saying, oh my goodness, it's happening again. We're spiking back up towards the high of the day. Stock rips and runs, and what do you think happens once again, team? The stock just starts crashing, starts dumping. They say, I can't believe it. I always keep on losing. You can get in early. You can get in on the breakout. And if you are a person who constantly chases, you can go ahead and short the play. But you got to get out of the habit of just pushing up profits for other people. It's sad because all you're doing, when you think about it, is you are giving your money to someone else. When someone buys in early and someone buys at the breakout, all you are doing is you are investing your money. You're investing your $3,000. That's making the stock go up a little higher. So someone else is about to sell and take your $3,000. When you chase a play, you're investing your money for someone who got in earlier to take your money. Then you say, okay, where's my money? And there is no money for you. When you're buying at the top, you're just paying the people who bought lower. That's it. That's all you're doing. Think about that for a second. When you chase a play, you're just giving your money and rewarding the people who bought lower. Right? Don't put your money in there. Short the play instead, or wait for that dip buy. Hey, Deck, I don't know how to early swing trade. Okay, it takes time. Hey, Deck, I'm not confident enough to go for a breakout. Okay, that takes time. Hey, Deck, I see the big time spike. Okay, then short it. Hey, Deck, I don't feel comfortable shorting. Okay, that takes time. Well, then look for a dip buy. There's so many different ways that you guys can make money. Just stop chasing those tops, right? So how do I get into that top 10%? Right? Early swing traders, breakout shorters, dip buyers. You have so many places to be successful, but the majority of people lose. So how can I get better? Well, you got to study. You got to have experience. You got to do the work. We need to think like the mob and then be one step ahead of them. People always ask me that question. They always say, Deck, how do I get successful in the stock market? Right? There's not one little formula. There isn't. It's like the same exact thing. I like to compare stock trading a lot of times to fitness. Right? Let's think about this as fitness. You can hire a personal coach, can't you? You can hire a personal fitness coach who can write down every single diet that they want you to have. Hey, I want you to eat this at breakfast. I want you to eat this at lunch. I want you to have this at dinner. And if you want to have a snack, you can eat this. Then I want you to show up every single day, and I'll be here with you. And I want you to do this exercise, this exercise, this exercise, and this exercise. And we're going to do this 5 days throughout the week. And I can promise you, in 90 days, you will see a difference in your body. Sounds like a pretty good deal, right? Sounds like a pretty good promise. If you eat the things that I tell you to eat, you show up and you do the things that I tell you to do, I can promise you, in 90 days, you will see a difference. But what do most people do? Well, most people, again, are sitting at their home and they say, I'm sure a couple, again, cheese yodels with some extra fudge isn't going to hurt. Just maybe one or two. Hey, I'm at a gas station right now. Let me, again, just buy, 1 or 2 packs of Skittles. Hey, it's a nice summer day. Let me just get, 1 or 2 things of ice cream. Hey, I'm supposed to go, again, 5 days a week, but I'm a little bit tired. Let me do 3 days this week. Days go on. Next thing you know, you're back to eating junk food. Next thing you know, again, you're only going 1 day a week, right? If you want to get out and you want to be successful, you got to stick to the program. If after a 90-day period happens and you only stuck to the program for the first week, can you go up to the fitness trainer and you point your finger at him and you say, hey, I'm even fatter than where I started. I want my money back. I gave you X amount of money. I give you $1,000 to put me in shape and you didn't put me in shape. The fitness trainer says, what do you mean I didn't put you in shape? What do you mean I didn't I told you exactly what to eat. Did you follow it? No. I told you exactly when to work out. Did you come 5 days a week? No. I told you exactly what to do when you work out. Did you do any of that? No. Whose fault is that? Right? If we bring this over to stock trading and you want me again to mentor you, I'm going to teach you everything. I will teach you how to trade. I will teach you all the strategies. I will teach you support and resistance. I will teach you everything that you need to know about stock trading, everything that I have. But at the end of the day, did you paper trade? No. Did you just jump into real trading right away and try to become rich overnight? Yes. Do you have any experience? No. Are you listening or do you just want to trade off emotion? I'm just trading off emotion, right? It's like you got to be able to do the work that no one wants to do. The hardest part of your trading is the beginning. The hardest part of anything is the beginning. The most boring part of everything is always the beginning, right? Because we all want to, again, kind of go to that crazy level, right? I know when you first start stock trading, everyone wants to make millions of dollars. When you first start, again, wanting to, be a skydiver. I went to skydive school. Not really, I guess, skydive school, skydive course. The first 2 days, I sat through a 6-hour course. Does that sound fun? Not at all. I was sitting there and I was like, when did we start jumping out of things, right? 2 days straight, 6-hour course. But you got to get through that so you can get to the fun stuff, right? So you got to put in the work. Different ways to find the mob, right? How to beat the mob. Well, they're always going to be in pre-market. That hottest press release is going to bring them on out. The top gainers of the day, that's where the mob stays. That's where they live. Where is the hype? Understand, what's hot right now. What's being talked about at the moment. And again, we can always look for that 20 count. 20 count is a strategy we teach, again, right here on TradeCaster, the high of the day momentum scanner. We talked about that before in the past. Make sure, again, you guys know that strategy if you guys are in chat. So understand how the mob works in different market conditions. Some days the mob is going to be stronger than others. Understand the mindset behind traders. Market conditions are like the weather. So many traders do the same thing every single day. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But for example, today we have earnings season. Earnings season has started. The next 2 weeks, we're not going to see many hot press releases. We're going to see earnings that come out in after hours, and that's going to be the biggest show of the day. If we, again, trade like crazy animals during today, the mob is weak right now. The mob, a lot of people aren't trading at this moment. That means volume is low. If volume is low, we can't see as many big time breakouts. So what we need to do and what we need to understand here, traders, is we need to be able to break down every single day and say, is it a hot day or is it a slow day? Do we have hot press releases? Do we have that high emotion of excitement? Or are traders unenthusiastic? Are they a little bit slow? Are they saying it's slow? Are a lot of people saying, this is a day I'm going to take easy? If it's a day that everyone's taking easy, you take easy. If it's a day that everyone's going crazy, you go crazy, right? You got to match that same exact enthusiasm. Don't go crazy when everyone's going slow. You'll get stuck into a play that's not moving whatsoever. So, what are the conditions right now? Let's take a look. Right, conditions right now, it does come down to, it's rather slow right here, right? We do have TBLT. Stock has gone from 20 cents to 28 cents. This is considered the number one top gainer in the stock market. Nothing really too crazy here. Right, we have PTPI. Stock has gone from 120 up to 180. Nothing really too crazy here. We saw CYRN right here. CYRN. This stock has gone from 270 to 320. Not bad, but again, very small green candle right here. Nothing too crazy. So would we want to go crazy on a day like today? Would we want to be trying to hit a home run? Absolutely not. What we'd want to be trying to do is we want to try to take profits when we have them. We just want to make small gains. And that's all I did on my trade today, right? All I did on my trade today was I made $135. $135 isn't bad, but it's better than what I had at this morning. And the reason why I take my $135 profit is just because I want to take gains when I have it, because I know the mob isn't going to allow me to make much more, right? We're not going to see massive breakouts. We're not going to see massive rips. We're not going to see massive spikes. We have to just trade whatever the market conditions are going to give us, right? And that is going to be it right there. So I wanted to teach you guys all about the mob today. I want to teach you guys about psychology, and I hope you guys can kind of see it, how it's a cool superpower, and start building and start practicing and practice your trading and start practicing how you see other traders and how they are perceiving the market on the day. And it's just an awesome, awesome little technique to have. Get out of the mob. Be above the mob, right? We're going back to kind of what we began with. Do you guys, again, want to be in the mob? Take the red pill. Or take the blue pill. The choice is yours. But I'm ready to open up your eyes. All right? Hey, happy to help you guys on out. Let's get back to it. Let's have an awesome day ahead. And if you guys have any questions, as always, please let me know.